Yeah, recording is on. Okay, good afternoon all. My name is Dr. Vikram Uttam Pandit. I am PG coordinator at Department of Chemistry, Haribhai Videsai College. And today we are gathered here for the state level webinar on high value development in chemistry. Today we have with us Vice Principal of our college, Dr. Neeta Bokil. Today's resource person, Dr. Vasudev Gurnule sir, and I will again welcome you all on the behalf of PGK Mandal, principal of our college and HV Desai College. Now I request Vice Principal Dr. Neeta Bokil ma'am to guide us.
Thank you, Vikram. Good afternoon, one and all. I am very much happy to welcome you all in this webinar organized by the Chemistry Department of our college. I personally welcome today's resource person, Dr. Vasudev Gurnule sir from Nagpur. आमचे हरिभाई देसाई कॉलेज, शनिवारवाडा, लाल महाल, विश्रामबाग वाडा, भिडेवाडा, नाना फडणवीसांचा वाडा अशा 101 ऐतिहासिक वास्तूंनी वेढला गेला आहे. तरी या महाविद्यालयातील विज्ञान आणि तंत्रज्ञानाच्या प्राध्यापकांनी आजच्या 21व्या शतकात अतिशय नवनवीन आणि अत्याधुनिक विषयांवर ऑनलाईन आणि ऑफलाईन वेबिनार आयोजित करून आमच्या विद्यार्थ्यांना 21व्या शतकातील डिजिटल युगाशी कनेक्ट केले आहे. हे आजच्या वेबिनारसाठी निवडलेल्या विषयावरून आपल्या लक्षात येईल. तो विषय म्हणजे हाय व्हॅल्यू डेव्हलपमेंट इन केमिस्ट्री. खरं तर मला स्वतःला या विषयातलं काही समजत नाही, कारण बेसिकली मी सोशल सायन्सची स्टुडंट आहे. माझा विषय पॉलिटिकल सायन्स आहे. म्हणून मग मी विचार केला की सुरुवातीला थोडंसं एक वेगळंपण म्हणून माझ्याच विषयातील डेव्हलपमेंट्स आपल्याला का शेअर करू नयेत. खूपदा पॉलिटिक्स आणि पॉलिटिकल सायन्स हे दोन शब्द एकाच अर्थी वापरले जातात. पण मित्रांनो, या दोन्ही शब्दांना दोन स्वतंत्र अर्थ आहेत. उदाहरणार्थ, पॉलिटिक्स या शब्दाला थोडंसं निगेटिव्ह कनोटेशन आहे. पॉलिटिक्स करणं म्हणजे काय, तर चढाओढ, सत्तेसाठीची चढाओढ, स्पर्धा, कुटकारस्थान करणं किंवा व्यूहरचना करणं, कटकारस्थान करणं, खलबतं करणं, ह्या सर्वांचा निगेटिव्ह अर्थ मिळून पॉलिटिक्स होतं. पण पॉलिटिकल सायन्स हा थोडा वेगळा असा विषय, ती एक स्वतंत्र ज्ञानशाखा आहे. ती एक अतिशय आधुनिक अशी ज्ञानशाखा आहे. पॉलिटिकल सायन्स मध्ये आपण गव्हर्नमेंट, स्टेट, पॉवर, पॉलिसीज या कन्सेप्टचा अभ्यास केला जातो. परंतु केवळ फॉर्मल प्रोसिजरचा अभ्यास केला जात नाही, तर इन्फॉर्मल प्रोसिजर्सचा पण अभ्यास केला जातो. फॉर एक्झाम्पल, डिसिजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस, इट्स अ प्युअरली फॉर्मल प्रोसेस. पण जेव्हा आपण पॉलिटिकल सायन्स मध्ये डिसिजन मेकिंगचा अभ्यास करतो, तेव्हा मग आपल्याला हे बघावं लागतं की हू टेक्स डिसिजन, कोणी डिसिजन्स घेतलेत, कोणासाठी घेतले आहेत, त्याचे काय परिणाम आहेत, नंतर त्याचे बरेवाईट काय परिणाम आहेत, कोणावर ते परिणाम होणार आहे, डिसिजन ज्याने घेतला आहे त्याचं वय काय, शिक्षण काय, अनुभव काय, त्याचा सामाजिक आणि आर्थिक दर्जा काय, अशा सर्व गोष्टी लक्षात घ्याव्या लागतात. आणि त्यामुळे पॉलिटिकल सायन्स हे कॉम्प्रिहेन्सिव्ह होतं, ते इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी होतं. आणि मलाही असं वाटतं की तुमचं केमिस्ट्री किंवा संपूर्ण नॅचरल सायन्स हे इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी पद्धतीनेच अभ्यास करत असावं. आणि म्हणून जेव्हा विक्रम सरांनी मला सांगितलं की अतिशय असा वेगळ्या विषयावर तुम्ही सेमिनार आयोजित केलेला आहे, तेव्हा मला पण तुमचा विषय समजून घ्यायला खूप आवडेल. पुन्हा एकदा तुम्हा सर्वांना या वेबिनारसाठी मी शुभेच्छा देते. आजचे वक्ते माननीय डॉक्टर गुरनुले सर यांचे पुन्हा एकदा महाविद्यालयाच्या वतीने स्वागत करते. आयोजक डॉक्टर विक्रम पंडित सर यांनी मला आपल्याशी संवाद साधण्याची जी संधी दिली त्याबद्दल मी आभार मानते. धन्यवाद.
Yes ma'am, Vaishnav.
Yes sir. Thank you ma'am. Myself Vaishnavi Thorat, Assistant Professor at Department of Chemistry, Haribhai V. Desai College, Pune. It's my great pleasure to introduce our today's chief guest and speaker, Dr. Vasudev Gurnule sir. Sir has obtained his MSc degree in chemistry in 1989. He obtained his PhD degree in 2000 on polymer chemistry from RTM Nagpur University, Nagpur. Dr. Gurnule sir is presently working as professor in Department of Chemistry, Kamla Nehru Mahavidyalaya, Nagpur. Sir has published more than 200 research papers in national and international reviewed journals and presented more than 110 research papers in national and international conferences. He is reviewer of 38 international journals of Elsewhere, John Wiley, Springer, Markel Decker, Bentham, RSC publishers having impact factor more than 2. Sir has received many awards in his career, such as CRSI Best Teacher Award in 2011 for outstanding contribution in polymer materials presented by Chemical Research Society of India, Bangalore at CRSI Symposium at Bhubaneswar in 2011. He also received Distinguished Scientist Award in 2016 for their contribution in research work at Chennai by Center for Advanced Research, Chennai. He also been received AFBAU International Outstanding Researcher Award in 2016. Then Best Researcher Award by Vishwa Shanti Society at MDI Singapore in 2017. Recently, Sir has honored by Best Researcher Award by Rashtrasanta Tukdoji Maharaj Nagpur University, Nagpur. Sir has successfully guided 26 students for PhD degree and 6 are currently registered for PhD with him. With this brief introduction, I request Dr. Gurnule sir, please guide us.
Okay. First of all, thank Vaishnavi for your nice introduction. And also, before going to start, I thank the principal of the college and also vice principal, madam, for inviting me for this state level webinar. Also, I thank Dr. Vikram Pandit sir. He is very active in the science and doing activities for the student. Before going to start now, I am sharing the screen and then I will start the presentations. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. Sir, is the screen visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. Hello.
Yes, sir, it's visible. Will you please make it on presentation mode?
Yes, it is in presentation mode. Is okay now? Is it full screen now?
Not yet, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, reshare it again, sir. It will.
Yeah. We have to start from this open share tray, na?
Yes, sir.
Now the screen is visible.
Yes.
Is okay now?
Sir, please click on that slideshow, then it will
Okay.
become full screen.
I'm using first time this Microsoft Team. I have to click this one arrow first.
Yeah.
After that,
Share entire screen.
yes.
Yeah. Now on the yeah, it's there. Right hand side and at the bottom.
I have made it full screen now. Now it is full screen or not?
Not yet.
Is it okay now?
Not yet, sir. But I think you start this way only. We'll see.
Slide visible or not?
Yes, first slide is there. Advanced materials, nanomaterials.
And second slide,
It's not coming.
not here. Yeah, first.
Yeah, now it's visible. Second slide.
Now is it visible?
Yes, yes, it's visible, sir.
And also changing.
No, it's not moving. First slide is only visible.
So how to share then? Because I have shared it.
Now it's working, sir. Yeah, it's in presentation mode. You are on second slide.
Okay, now on first now.
Yeah, sir.
Changing now.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So again, now I thanks the organizer, and today I'm discussing about the nanomaterials, and which is known as the advanced material. And as we know, at present we are in a dynamic world where the time domains and geography are rapidly shrinking, but at the same time, space and opportunities are expanding with the competition and innovation as the key driver. As we know that knowledge is a we are in knowledge driven economy, and which is linked with the science and technology. These are the two parts, science and technology. And as we know, science and technology are related to with each other, and they are different, but they are complementary with each other. As we know, what is science and what is technology? Science is the pursuit of knowledge and understanding for its own sake, and technology is the creation of artifacts and the system to meet the people needs. And there is one branch, and that branch is known as the material science. And this is the field. In this field, the development is there, and development of this technology which make their life comfortable, and this technology is related to the material. And special branch is there for material, study of material, which is known as the material science. And material science is related to the some engineering material, and this engineer are giving design as per the requirement of the pupils. And now we can say that material science and material scientists play an important role in the development of the country. And in case of this advanced material, the properties of materials are size dependent. The properties of the materials are depends on the size. And we can say that material scientists claim that 21st century is the century of material, and we can say especially the nanomaterials. So if we go through the historical development of this advanced material, then in the initial Stone Age was there. After that, Bronze Age, then Iron, and now we are in an advanced material age. And special material is the nanomaterial. So one can say that what is the material science or engineering? So we can give the answer for this. With the advancement of science, structure property correlation of material can be understood, and there is a new discipline of science which is known as the material science, which came out. So when we discuss about the material science or material chemistry, there are four pillars of this material chemistry. First part is the processing, after that structure, then properties, and then performance. When we are doing the process, so here in the processing, we have to use the method for the synthesis of materials. So this is the first part. So there are four pillars, important pillars. And second part is the structure. Once we synthesize the material, what is the structure of that material? That is, structure means what is the arrangement of these particles in the compound? What is the internal component? What are the atomic and subatomic particles? Whether the particles are microscopic or macroscopic. So we should have to know about the structure of the synthesized material. After that, third pillar is the important part. What is the properties? We should know some properties of that synthesized material, and we can know the properties of this material. That is the properties of like mechanical, electrical, thermal, magnetic, optical, and some other properties. So we should have to know what are the properties of this material. And after that, fourth important pillar is the performance. We have synthesized, but what is the purpose of synthesis of this material? So we should have to know the performance, behavior of this particle, and in short, we can say that what is the use or what are the applications of this material. So these are the important pillar, and at the center, there is a characterization of this material is an important part. So as we know, as industry evolutions, and last 2 centuries have shown that there is a much more industrial revolutions. And as we see here in the slide, as time progresses, there is a changes in the technology. First of all, after Middle Age, steam engine came. After that, railways came, automobiles, and then computer came in that. And what is after the computer? Now, next big step is the, we can say, nanotechnology. So this is the next big stage. So here evolution of nanotechnology came out, and if we see here what is the, as in 1970 basic research was there, then in 2000 there was an applied research, and after that day by day there is an advancement in the a rapid advancement or advancement in the materials, and now after 2020 we can say that we are having a mass market of this material, and now nanomaterials, nanotechnology are using in most of the field nowadays. So when we are discussing about the nanotechnology or nanomaterial, one scientist who got a Nobel Prize, what is Carl, has received the Nobel Prize. He said that he has given the uh, talk on the contribution of elemental carbon to the development of nanoscience and technology at ISCT Hyderabad. And this Robert Carr said that carbon nanotechnology was much more older as compared to carbon nanoscience. So what is now here? Carbon nanotechnology was much more older as compared to the carbon nanoscience. He also received the Nobel Prize for this discovery of fullerene along with the Richard Smalley. And these scientists also observed that they performed number of experiments and shows that in old age, ancient time, when Maharaja Rana Pratap, Maharaj Shivaji Maharaj was there, or Tipu Sultan was there, at that time also, this they are sold. That is, that sword also contain number of carbon nanotubes. Means it is not the new. So at that time was time in 2006, and also below that in ancient time, carbon nanotechnology was there, but people does not know about this technology. And example for this is we can say that in ancient time also nanotechnology, nanomaterial was there. And for this case, we can say that material in Roman time had nanomaterials, and we can say that a glass which is covered with the nanoparticle of the gold and silver are kept also in a British museum. And this is the Lagercus cup, which is kept in the British Museum. We can say that it is a Roman pottery before the 400 after Christ. And here we see the color in a daylight and the light. So this is red color is nothing but the nano gold. So we can say that nanoparticle is in ancient materials. This glass is covered with these nanoparticles, and now here design is shown here, and here is in a daylight and in a dark. So this is the red color, nothing but the gold, and this paper on this part is also published in 2000 in the journal Nature. And so we can say that this is the nanotechnology and nanoparticle in ancient time. So what is nanomaterial? So we can say that now what is nanosize? So we can say that nanosize is this word nano taken from the Greek word, what is the nanos, meaning dwarf. It is the prefix used to describe 1 billionth of something. And we can express 10 to the power minus 9 is a nano, and scale are there, how to convert from meter to millimeter and millimeter to micron, micron to nanometer. So this is the scale here shown, how we can convert from one to other. So this is the scale for nanosize, and from one scale to another. So remember 10 to the power minus 9 is a nano, and how to express it? We can express here 0.000000001. We can say that 1 billionth of meter is 1 nanometer. 1 billionth of the meter is a 1 nanometer. And it is also observed that 1 nanometer is approximately 6 carbon atom wide. Our hydrogen atom is 0.1 nanometer. Our human height is a 1.7 billion nanometer. So this is about the size nano. Now, what is the nanoscience and nanotechnology? So we can say that particle less than 100 nanometer is known in diameter is known as the nanomaterials, and study of such material is known as the nanoscience. And nanotechnology is the field where we can give the design to this material, and as per the applications and as per the need of the society. So these are the two words, nanoscience and the nanotechnology. Now science at the nanoscale. Now, as we know, this material are emerging material or interdisciplinary science, which is related to the chemistry, physics, biology, medical science, engineering, materials, earth science, and computer science. So in every, most of the field, these material are related. And so there is a new area where we can use this nano size material, and because of that, they are practically more important, and we have a lot of application of this material in different field. So some of the applications have been shown here. Nanomaterials can be used in food agriculture, can be used in industry. Different industries are there, in biomedical instrumentation or biomedical applications, in the environmental for the pollution, for removing the pollution or to decrease the pollution, as a biodegradable polymers, wastewater treatment. This material nowadays, in also aquaguards, some nano-sized particles have been used nowadays, and because of that, it purify the water. And so these are some field where we can use this material. They can also be used as a catalyst, and in medical field, lot of applications are there for drug delivery, and so many applications are there of this material. Now, whenever we are discussing about this nanoscience or nanotechnology, and we can say that there are some economic benefit, but at the same time, we should have to discuss about the ethical, legal, and social and environmental issues about related to this material. No doubt it is beneficial, but we should have to discuss at national or international level what are the drawbacks of this material. Now, no doubt it is useful, and for this case, we should have some the forum or the society where we can discuss related to this material, because it is very toxic and harmful material. So what is now for this R&D part, in case of research and development, we need the infrastructure, and the health, safety, and environmental issues are very important part. And for this case, we required some human resources. And in case of there is an industrial innovation, but now we should have to also discuss at the national international level about the toxicity of this material, because whenever we are working with this material, we should have to take care, because we should not inhale, because we cannot see this material, and with the air we can inhale, so it creates dangerous problems or harmful effect. So whenever we are working with this, we should have to take the care, and there should be some discussion with the scientists or different countries. We can say that there should be a societal issue. Now there are two models. One is a top-down, second is a bottom-up model for the synthesis of this nano-sized material. Two scientists are there. One is a Richard Feynman, and second is a G. Mary Lane. Both the scientists have received Nobel Prize in physics, and another is in the chemistry for their work. So what is, we can say first model is a top-down model. So in case of top-down model, they have to start from the bulk material. Then from this, we obtain the nanostructured material. So shown in this slide. And in this case, first of all, top-down, in case of top-down approach, there is a miniaturization of the component as advanced means given by the Feynman. And Feynman says that there is a plenty of room at the bottom. And in case of the bottom-up model, start from the atom. In case of bottom-up model, we have to start from the atom or molecule or cluster, and then we get the nanostructured material. So one is a top-down, second is a bottom-up. So what is the beauty of these models? Richard Feynman says that there are plenty of room at the bottom, and Jean Mary Lane says that there are plenty of room at the top. So these are the approach. It means that the material is nano size. Even it is a smaller size, we can make as number as we want the compartment. Suppose one room is there, we can divide the one room into two parts. We can also divide into 4 parts. Again, each part is also divided into 4 parts. So In this way, we can make number of compartment in this nano size. Even it is also small size, there is a possibility of making the number of rooms. Therefore, they are saying that there are plenty of room at the top, there are plenty of room at the bottom. In both the models, both the scientists suggested this thing. And now, why do we want to make the thing small? So anyone can ask a question, why we want this thing small? So we can say that to make the product smaller, cheaper, faster, and better by scaling them. So that it can be useful for as a catalyst in electronics, for water purification, as a solar cell or coating. So because of that, we want the thing small and to carry easily from one place to other. And therefore, nanoscale region neither quantum chemistry or nor classical laws of physics hold. And therefore, these materials are useful, and these materials are metals, semiconductors, insulators are there. So there is an extensive use of this material when it is in a nano size. So nano region show the changes in properties, and here this slide show how they show the changes. So quantum mechanical behavior shows that there is a technical physics, new technical physics is there. They show the change in color, transparency, hardness, magnetism, electrical conductivity when it is in a smaller size or when it is in a nano size. In case of biological, when increase in surface area, then it shows the changes in chemical process like melting point and boiling point. Chemical reactivity, catalytic activity can be increased or show the changes. In case of molecular recognition, we can say that there is a new bio applications, and new bio applications are self-organization, repairability, adaptability, recognition. So as the size change, their properties also show the changes. These are the slide we show how it show the changes. Now, as we know, properties of the materials are size dependent. And what are the changes in the as the size changes? What are the changes in the property? Color, conductivity. These are the 7 properties where they show changes as the size changes. Properties are also changes. So this is the one example. As the size changes, the color, melting point, and color and the lambda max show the changes. Now see, this size show nano sizing causes the changes in color. How? Now see, we have seen the bulk gold. सभी ने देखा है कि gold कैसा होता है. This is the bulk gold. What is the bulk gold? Is a golden in color. We have seen the ornaments of gold, shiny, and it is a yellow in color. And melting point of this is 1064. Color is golden. So this is the bulk gold. Now this gold, when the size of the gold is a 1 nanometer, this is the smaller size, then slightly bigger size, and it is also again slightly bigger size. When the particle size of the gold is 1 nanometer, then the color is brown yellow. So see here, the color is yellow, and melting point is a 700 degrees Celsius, and the lambda max is 420 nanometer. But slightly, if we increase the size of this gold particle, suppose 20 nanometer, as the size show the change, then what is color also red now. So 20 nanometer gold is a red in color, and melting point is 1000 degree. Again now, if we increase the size of the gold particle, it is a purple pink, and again the melting point increases. It is 1100 is there shown here. But now what is? So see, as the size increases, the gold color also show the change. We have you can see this color when the size of the particle is 1 nanometer, 20 nanometer, or 100 nanometer. So we can say that as the size changes, the color of this material also show the change. So this is one example. Another example is shown here. This is indium phosphorus nanoparticle. Cadmium, selenium in solution show the changes in the color. This is the color when the size of the nanoparticle is a 4 nanometer, 4.2, 4.8, 5.5. You see this is orange type color, yellow type, dark, like greenish type, and light green. So they show the changes in both the case. As the size increases or changes, they show the different colors. It is also observed that Professor C.N.R. Rao is a great scientist of India. He has given details about this evolution of oxygen from the gold oxide. And one paper have been published given here, oxide surface of the gold. This is the colored, and this is the small size gold. This is the bigger size gold. When we heat, what is then? In case of small size, there is an evolution of CO2 gas and carbon monoxide. But when the size is greater, then they show the evolution of only carbon monoxide. So when the size of the gold is smaller, then there is evolution of carbon monoxide as well as evolution of carbon dioxide. So this is also observed. So we can say that nano size changes the chemistry. Now synthesis of nanomaterial, and now here is a top down method and bottom up method is given here for the synthesis of nano size material. And here we have to take the bulk material, we have to cut it by the knife or slash it so that we get the nano size particle. And from bottom up, we have to start from atom and atom, or molecule and molecule, or the cluster and cluster, so that we can get the nano particles. So these are the main two approaches for the synthesis of nanomaterial. So remember, two methods are there. One is top down and second is bottom up. In addition to that, there are some other methods which are known as the for the synthesis of the nano size material. These are the methods: sonochemical route, chemical methods, microemulsion method, mechanical or ball mill method, two-roll mill is also known as two-roll mill, lithography or etching. And some modern methods are also there. Sol gel method is a commonly used in the laboratory, and hydrothermal method also commonly used. Some more other methods, and a number of methods are there. We can synthesize the nanomaterial by using these modern methods. So one method, sol gel process, is shown here, and in this method of sol gel, first sol and gel is formed, and in this material there are 7 steps of the material, and in this case, first of all, we have to take the material. What is the mixing of sol and gel, mixing of material, then casting and gelation, aging. So step by step, sol is formed, then gel, then we have to mix it, then dry it, and then porous gel is obtained, and lastly we get the dense gel, which is known as densification. So in this case of this sol gel method, this is the best method in the laboratory to synthesize the nano size material, and this method is a wet chemical method used for fabrication of the both glassy and ceramic material. So in this process, use of either chemical solution, that is we can say that sol solution, or controlled or colloidal particles, sol as nanoscale particle, and after mixing of this, also known as the gel, after drying the process, of liquid phase is removed from the gel, and in this case, sol is a liquid of colloidal solution. Gel can be a solid or semi-solid, and we can convert sol into gel by cooling, and gel can be converted into sol by heating. So this is simple method available, and we can synthesize the nano size material. In addition to that, solothermal process is also a simple method and best method as compared to this sol gel, and we require the autoclave. So solothermal process is a chemical synthetics method using water or organic solvent as the reaction medium. In sealed vessel, generally autoclave is used, in which temperature between 100 to 240 degrees Celsius we have to maintain. This method is better as compared to the sol gel method, and the precursor solution usually a non-aqueous. So therefore we can say that this method has been used in the laboratory to make the nanostructured titanium dioxide, graphene, carbon sphere, and some other oxides of the metal. And one more method is given, what is hydrothermal method. And hydrothermal method is the, this method include various techniques of crystallizing the substance from high temperature aqueous solution to the high vapor pressure. This method is synthesis of, or this method can be used to synthesize the single crystal that depends on the solubility of the material in and under high pressure. The crystal growth is performed in autoclave, in which the nutrient is supplied along with the water. So temperature we have to maintain up to 300 in this case. And so again, this is the another method of synthesis of the nano-sized material. One more method is there also, what is known as the slow combustion method to synthesize. Just you know that we have a lamp, take the lamp and keep it in a small part so that after long time on the wall, we collect the carbon. That carbon collected after 1 month, then what is that? After, because of in combustion, what is that carbon collected is also a nano size. So this another slow combustion process method is there. Obtain nanocarbon from the lamps when it is kept for the long time, and carbon is collected on the wall. Okay, like that. This is the solothermal process, tungsten oxide. In this slide shown, morphology changes with the change of solvent. Solothermal means we have to synthesize by using a different solvent. So morphology changes with the change of solvent. And here is a pure ethanol. See the nature of the tungsten oxide. When we take the mixed solvent, then see the nature. When pure water we take, what is the nature? So see here, different nature is there. As we change the solvent, they show the change in morphology of the oxide of the metal. Here is a tungsten oxide. In addition to that, once we synthesize the nano-sized material, we should have to know what are the methods to characterize, to know the structure of the material. So these are the methods, SEM, TEM, X-ray, and AFM and BET. So this is the same here. Same is the scanning electron microscopy. By using this, we can know the surface morphology of the material. So in this case, electron microscope image we obtained. So it is an instrument, cost is around the more than 1 crore, and same image give the particle size, and it is system connected. So we get in a within a 2 minutes, within a minute, but it takes long for giving the image, and after that it gives the image on the computer. So only 1 to 2 minutes are required. So after maintaining, after placing the sample, we obtain the image of this, and we can take different modification, that is the resolution. We can take it at 5,000, 10,000 resolutions, magnifications are there, so that image can be cleared. So it gives the particle size. We know the particle size of this material, what is on the surface, not in the bulk, all the part of the material. So same is very important, which give and some parameters about the material. But more important materials, that is the what are the particle size and what is the nature inside and also surface, obtained by using the TEM. TEM is a transmission electron microscopy. So TEM is a microscopic technique where electron beam is transmitted through the ultra thin specimen and interact as it passes through the sample, and electron beam illuminate as an image. So in this case also we get TEM image of different magnification or resolution, and difference between these two, that same give the morphology of the material on the surface, TEM give the morphology on the surface as well as of the whole body of the material. Inside also in the bulk, what is the particle size can be known from this image of the TEM. More accurate result is also obtained by using AFM. So by using AFM, we know see the figure. atomic force magnetometer. Here is the instrument, how it is arranged. This is the surface of the material, and this is the tip. And touch this tip to the any side of the material, we know the particle size. And here, how the arrangements are there. Here is the surface atoms shown here. When we apply the force, tip atoms, so they show in this way the arrangement when force is applied. So this is just shown how it give the arrangement of the particle. So what is the arrangement, what is the size can be obtained by atomic force magnetometer. So this is the important. If you want the size of one side or other side, we have to touch that to that surface material, and we can know the size and other parameters. This is another method to know the particle size and some parameter, and on the basis of this XRD, we have to plot the graph. We obtain such type of graph. B we have to know, and the theta angle, and here is the equation is shown, Cherer formula, and by using this equation, particle size, thickness, and other parameter can be known. Main is the size of the particles is also known by using XRD. So as we have seen different methods, now carbon nanotube is also very important. Whenever we are discussing the nanomaterial or nanotechnology, CNT, that is carbon nanotube, in short it is known as CNT, is a very important part, and we should know what are the methods and how it is obtained. So CNT is an important part, and as we know, CNT is nothing but it contains only the carbon, and we know different structures of the carbon, and we know that these are the allotropes of carbon, and here this is the diamond, graphite, 360, and graphene, and the C70, C80 carbon nanotubes shown here, and we can say that see all these different allotropes of carbon contain only the carbon, only the structures are different, and the CNT is also one of the part of these allotropes of carbon. So what is now nanotechnology? So CNT related to the nanotechnology. We can say that nanotechnology is a manipulation of matter on an atomic, molecular, or supramolecular scale. And this nanotechnology can be able to create many new material or devices as per the applications. So for example, nanomedicine, nanoelectronics, biomaterial, energy production materials are there, consumer products are there. And carbon nanotube is an important part. Our CNT are cylindrical molecules that consist of rolled up sheet of single layer carbon atom like graphene, and CNTs are chemically bonded with the sp2 bonds. sp2 bonds are there. As we know, carbon have, as per their configuration, sp2 carbon are there. And this slide show single walled carbon nanotube and multi-walled carbon nanotubes. So it is a coiled up and shows single walled in the first figure, and second is a multi-walled CNT or carbon tube. So single wall carbon nanotubes are defined as, we can know that it is a one-dimensional, cylindrically shaped. It is the allotropes of carbon and have surface area, have the high surface area, and these single walled are special class of carbon which is known as one-dimensional material, and it consists of sheets of graphene. And multi-walled shown here, different layers are being shown here, colored 1, 2, 3, 4. And these multi-walled CNTs are elongated cylindrical nano objects made of sp2 carbon. And we can also say that their diameter is 3 to 30 nanometer, and they can grow several centimeter long. And also it is the allotropes of carbon that have high aspect ratio, means length to diameter ratio, and it is also a double or triple walled CNT. So two types are there, single walled and the multi-walled carbon nanotubes are there, CNTs are there. These CNTs are having different shape. Three different parts are there. This is the armchair, the arrangement. And second is a zigzag. And third is a chiral. So three different types of carbon nanotubes are there. And these CNTs can be made or there's preparation or the method used for making the carbon nanotubes are three methods are being there. More commonly used method is a CVD method, what is known as chemical vapor deposition method. And one more is the electric arc discharge. And second is a laser ablation. One professor is there in Japan. So he is working on the laser ablation, and we are working on this chemical vapor deposition method, CVD method. In case of CVD method, chemical vapor deposition method, the arrangement of the instrument is shown here. So this is the catalytic CVD method shown to make the carbon nanotubes. Here is the reservoir. Here is the argon carrier gas we have to pass. Here is the exhaust, and K-type thermocouple is here. So in this way, after making solution reservoir contain ferrocene in the benzene and a flow rate 3 ml per minute, carrier gas and atmosphere is inert, argon atmosphere we have to maintain. So it is the most widely used method for carbon nanotube synthesis, and this method is used for this is a nanoparticles we have to mix with the catalyst like magnesium oxide and aluminum oxide, and to increase the surface area for higher yield, catalytic reaction of carbon feedstock with the metal particles is carried out, and thermocouple is shown here, K-type, and after that the solution from the reservoir comes in this way and stuck to this thermocouple, and product obtained is in a CNT. It is observed. So this is the method to synthesize the CNT carbon nanotubes. Once we synthesize the carbon nanotube, they have number of application as we know. Here, this carbon nanotube have number of applications for print and packaging industry. We can also make the nanocomposite. We can also make the films in biotechnology. So these are the area where we can use this CNT, and it is most widely used material. And so that slide show the different area. But now this carbon nanotube can also be used nowadays to make the foldable PC. These CNTs are used to develop flat screen television or PC of higher resolution than human eye can detect. And our next TV screen may be a thin, ultralight and foldable. So we can carry easily, very lightweight, and also can be folded and can be carried from one place to other. This CNT chip can also be, this is the one chip which is the biggest one. Scientists from MIT USA have developed this chip, computer chip, using the carbon nanotubes instead of silicon, and marking a milestone in computer technology. This paper have been published in Nature in 2019. This CNT now also used in the badminton rackets or tennis racket, and also in bicycle. So the body of this bicycle is made up of CNT, and because of it is a lightweight. Even this racket is also very lightweight and strong also because of the carbon nanotubes. This material CNT are also much more useful to the soldier, and because of that, this material manipulate the light and make soldier invisible. And this material built-in sensor of soldier and physical condition and give the location to the soldier about the enemy. It also views the radio communication directly into the uniform fabrics and provide chemical and biological protection. So it is very important to the soldier, the CNT, that is carbon material. So what are the mechanical properties of this material is shown here, some of the part. As we know, this material, it is stiff as diamond. Tensile strength is much more. Electric properties also more. Metallic and semiconducting properties shows, and thermal conductivity is also there. There is also functionalized material. CNTs are there. This is the CNT1. We can react with the HNO3, heat it. So one of the group joined here, another group joined here. Again, when we react with the alcohol or amine, what is then? These groups, hydrogen get replaced with this NHR group, or different groups we can introduce, and after introducing, we change the properties of the material. So it is a functionalized material. We can introduce any group in the carbon chain of the CNT, and therefore CNTs are having number of applications. And here also this slide show applications of carbon nanotubes or CNTs. Nowadays, CNTs are used to develop flat screen television. Also use a TV screen which is very thin and ultralight and foldable, like a calendar, and thin like a paper, and can be folded and can be carried easily from one place to other. Badminton racket, tennis racket also contain these carbon nanotubes. Nowadays, carbon nanotubes are also used in a solar cell, and in the square, in the traffic square, what is there? Branching and switching, the signals are there, yellow, green, and red. For that also, these materials are very useful, and also nowadays they have started using that light. It is also one of the property. Now it is shown that CNT show some effect on the cement, and now here efficiency of the cement increases with the addition of single walled or multi walled. See the morphology of this is the nature of CNT. This is the carbon nanotube. Absence of carbon nanotube. This is the morphology of the cement. Pages of single walled. See the compactness and the stiffness here. And in pages of multi walled, what is the nature? So different natures are there. Strength increases by 30% when multi-walled carbon nanotubes are used in the cement. So efficiency, toughness increases with the 30% as compared to simple Portland cement. So this is an important part. We have seen so many applications, but now nanogold is one of the important material. When it is in a nanosite, it shows us some different properties. So we can say gold itself does not always glitter, and nano gold is a shiny, golden in color. It is inert and it conducts electricity. But in addition to that, they show some change in color, structure showing change in structure, and two important property of this is the nano gold is a catalytic properties also shows. Because of smaller size, nano gold is used as a catalyst, and because of larger surface area, because of the smaller size, surface area of nanomaterial become large, and therefore it show high catalytic power. Now they show the change in structure, or we can say shape. When it is in a golden bulk, then it is having the FCC, matlab face centered cubic structure. But when it is in a nano size, then it has a icosahedral structure. So size changes, the structure also changes. So here is shown FCC and icosahedral structure of nano gold. Nano gold catalyst, these are the applications. We can use this nano gold as a catalyst for some oxidation process, and also researchers are using this as a potential catalyst in some processing, chemical processing, pollution control, and fuel cell applications, and also show some reduction of nitric oxide. In Japan also they have been used as a catalyst supported to the Fe2O3 as a odor eaters in bathrooms also. So nano gold have lot of applications, and important one more application of this nano gold is it is used to angiogenic therapy. So here for drug delivery, this material can be useful. And here is a slide shown. This is the nanoparticle, and this is the drug. Along with the drug, this nanoparticle can be injected to the infected part of the body, and this is the nanoparticle containing drug. So important multi-drug can also be injected. So here different particles of nano size. Here is the particle, multi-drug loaded nanoparticle. This is the single, and this is multi, shown by different colors. So for drug delivery, nanoparticles are very important because once it is injected in the body, they repair the part, infected part, and get digested because it is a DNA base. So this is important part of the nanomaterial for drug delivery in the medical science. Similar to these nanogold, silver nanoparticles also is a very useful material. As we know, silver nanoparticle can be synthesized from the medicinal plant. And here is one reaction shown of the synthesis of, this is the green synthesis or green route of synthesis of silver nanoparticle. This is the neem extract. We can take any ashwagandha or any other medicinal plant extract for the synthesis, and it contains silver. So we have to follow out, we have to carry out the reduction of this extract by using sodium borohydride. So this is the silver nitrate which is present in the extract. This is sodium borohydride, and silver get formed and hydrogen gas is evolved. Some part of the diboron is formed and NaNO3. So this is the reaction, and we get metallic silver. So this is the green synthesis route or method for the synthesis of this silver nanoparticle. So this is the particle which are collected here at the by the reduction, and here are shown the extract how different colors, light yellow to brown yellow is there of this silver nitrate solution. These silver nanoparticles, now see the application of this different application like silver, like gold. Silver nanoparticles also having number of applications. Some of the applications shown here each show antibacterial properties, and because of this, to remove the bacteria and the odor, bad odor, these silver nanoparticles are nowadays used in the washing machines, silver, and these are the cotton, hand gloves, and apron, where also these are embedded only to sterilize for removing the bacteria and odors. So this is very important material for these applications. In addition to that, another third compound which is in nano size is a zinc oxide. Zinc oxide is a wonderful material, and it is very interesting and widely used, and also have a bright future because of these other applications have been shown in this slide. We can synthesize zinc oxide in the laboratory by using this method. Very simple method is there. This is the flow chart. First of all, we have to take the silica tube at a particular temperature 900 degrees Celsius, make it clean and dry. After that, we have to pass the argon gas, oxygen. For this case, 1 gram of zinc powder of the high purity we have to place in aluminum boat or crucible, and then preheated furnace we have to keep it in at 900 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. After that, zinc oxide material in the form of white cotton like thread like deposited in the silica tube or the crucible. After that, we have to synthesize the material. These synthesized particles can be characterized by using TEM, SEM, and XRD. And these, after characterization, we can use this material for different purpose. And morphology, after taking the morphology by SEM, we obtain this material is nanomaterial are a nanorod-like structure, nanotadpole, nanoflower, nanocomb-like shown here in this slide. So these are the different image obtained for the surface morphology of the zinc oxide. Here it looked like a nanoparticles. Here look like a nanotetrapods, nanoflower-like structure, nanokite-like structure. So see these nanorod-like structures, nanowire-like structures, star-like structures, comb-like structures are there. So in different nature of this zinc oxide is shown here, and we obtain such type of material. So this zinc oxide nowadays and in old days also was used. As we know, large size zinc oxide particle block the UV light, scatter visible light, and appear white. So shown here in the cricket match, the players were used in the test match this zinc oxide and appear as a white. See here, this is generally used in sunscreen. So here shown, but now nano size zinc oxide particles block the UV light because of the so small compared to the wavelength of the visible light. They do not scatter it and appear clear. Nowadays, zinc oxide nanoparticle nature is shown here. Now it is a transparent. No white spot is there because it is a smaller size, nano size, and generally used in a sunscreen. One experiment is also been observed that zinc oxide can also be used as a supplement to the catfish. So this is a fish, and it is observed that this food is given. This is the control, and this is the nano zinc oxide, and this is simple zinc oxide. So here, after addition of nano size zinc oxide, the weight of this fish increases, shown here. See, in this way, 0, then 0.2 gram, 0.4 gram, day by day we have given, and we have observed this observation for 7 weeks and observed that there is a gain of weight of the fish because of this nano size zinc oxide. So we can say that zinc oxide can be used as a supplement to the fish. In addition to that, some magnetic properties are also there. Magnetic properties of nanomaterials show variety of behavior, and in this case, we can say that they have much more capacity, storage capacity as compared to silicon chip. So here is some applications, and nano composite material are there, and this nano material can be combined with another, and we get composite. Composite is nothing but the blend. What is now here? Metal and metal can be combined. Metal and ceramic can be combined. Ceramic and ceramic. And in case of polymer, polymer, ceramic, nano composite, inorganic, organic polymer, inorganic, organic hybrid, different types of combination can be two material can be combined, and we get the composite, which is known as the composite material. So it is also possible to make the composite, and it show the some enhancement in the properties. So these are the applications of nano composite. Once we prepare the nano composite by combining two different methods compounds, and this composite material can have a lot of applications. So see here the applications of the different part of the car made by this composite nano composite material. So see this one part, second, so different parts are there, and so we can say number of applications are there of this nano composite material. In addition to that, we can also say that this material can also be used as a superconductor, and this is the critical temperature resistance, and this is the curve shows here is a temperature resistance, and this is the line where here is a metal conductor, here is a superconductor, here is a semiconductor. So TC is a critical temperature, and after metal is a good conductor, but above this the ESC means the superconductor. So what is superconductor? Have zero electrical resistance. Superconductor have zero electrical resistance. And now Meitner is the name of scientist. Meitner effect shows that how T is greater than TC, T is less than TC. If T temperature is greater than critical temperature, so lines of magnetic passing through this material, and when it is less than, then see how it is turning and passing. So we can say that superconductor expel all the magnetic flux from their interior and are forced out of magnetic field. And this is the superconductor can float or levitate above the magnetic field. ये देखो इसमें superconductor, this is the superconductor material which is float on the magnet. This is the magnet and move like this. This is the magnet which is and material which is superconductor float on the magnet. And based on this principle, Japanese made the experimental frictionless. What is the frictionless train that float above the magnetic track with a speed of greater than 500 per hour. So this is the speed. So such type of trains are there in Japan. So see the train, how it flowed running on the with a great speed, more speed, and above the magnetic track. This is the magnetic track, and the wheels are of the superconductor, and these moving very fast. So in this way, this is the main property of superconductor. Superconductivity can be used by the Japanese. Now bulletproof trains are there. Now in also India going to start such type of train from Mumbai to go. What is the Ahmedabad? Superconductivity in also used in MRI, and for this case niobium titanium material can be used, and in this case it is in the presence of liquid helium. We get some it can be scanned. So MRI is an important. We know what is the nature in different part. So from the MRI we know what are the defect, where is the defect, like that. So for this case, this superconductor can be used, and niobium titanium, this mixture is used for this purpose. Now there are some benefit of this material, medicine and health, and for the drug delivery. So what are the uses today and tomorrow be shown here. So different now and tomorrow we have this usefulness of this material in different field, for material science, for instrument, and for remediation, protection, lightweight and strong. So there are number of benefit today also and in also tomorrow. So the area where this technology can be used are given here. These are the area where we can use this technology. This LED, the light emitting diodes, can also be used, and Edison is a scientist who introduced the incandescent bulb in 1880 and converted electricity into artificial light. So nowadays, the material like aluminum, gallium, osmium emit the red color, infrared. These are the chemicals used for emission of different color lights. So LED is one of the important. CFL now is replaced by LED, and these are the different bulb. What is the candle, bulb, CFL, and now LED. So LED is the much more useful, and it consumes also less electricity. So OLED is also came out now. TV is also available in OLED. So what is now the material is shown, and here is the light they emit. So what is the mechanism of this OLED? This is the metallic blue color cathode, and here this is the red color organic material, that is known as the organic LED. O for organic. OLED means LED is the, but what is now organic material also showing some luminescent properties. And so here is shown between these two, and this is the transparent conductive anode. So this is the anode, this is cathode. Between these organic emitting materials are being kept, and we can say sandwich between these two, anode and cathode. And this is the substrate. And now after putting and passing, what is they emit the light shown here. So in this way, nowadays this technology now used in a television. So there are also advantages of OLED as compared to LED. So because of OLED, it is brighter, clear, thinner, lighter in weight, and low powered. Can be printed on the various surfaces also. So this is the very useful material nowadays. It is also here is shown this slide that it is the miracle of the science, what is now known as the lithium powered heart. So how it pumps shown here. Scientists also shown this type of lithium powered heart. It is the miracle of science, which we can say that cardiac pacemaker operates on battery. So the lifespan of this lithium powered heart is the 2 years, and maximum up to 10 years. So it is useful in the science. And scientist, what is the professor of chemistry, Robert West, give this type of heart, and we can say that it is the critical in man attempt to tap new sources of energy. So lithium is a very important material, can be used for this purpose. Now, there are some impact of nanotechnology, and lastly, we are discussing some important applications which are very useful to the society, and these are as a material, as a technology for the healthcare and in the environment. Now, I am in the last part. Only 4 application I'm showing here. What is the material? So in case of material, strain resistant cloth is also there. In the future, it is possible that we can remove the dust or any color spot from our cloth by just rubbing. So here here is shown nano paint that removes the stain and liquid bead off or roll off. Now here nanofiber create a cushion of air around the fabric, and 10 nanometer carbon whisker bond with the cotton, and here is shown some spot colored and fabric. This is the nano care fabrics with water and can remove easily this color or dye particles or any dust particle. So in the future now the cloth may come like that. So if any dust is there, any color particles are there, we can remove easily. There is no need to wash because of these nanofibers. This material paint that does not chip. So what it means that this is the Mercedes shown here. We can use the protective nano paint as a color, and if you give this nano paint, then it is a water and dirt repellent, resistant to the chipping and scratches. It also show the bright color and also gloss, show they the glossy type of nature. In the future now, it is also possible that the car can also show the changing color. Today, if you want red, red. Tomorrow, if you want yellow, yellow, blue. So now scientists are trying that the car may show change in color. Today is red, next day is a blue, like that. So this is the beauty of this material. That is the nano material. In case of environment now, this is the building shown in the picture, which is the tallest building now in the world. What is the Burj Khalifa in Dubai? And on this building now, nano paint is used, because what is the use of this? So nano paint on the building or any monument reduce the pollution. When it exposed to UV light, TiO2, titanium dioxide, present as a particle in the paint, break down the organic and formaldehyde, like that present in the air or on the surface. It also decompose the air pollution, and particle like formaldehyde also be breaks. So it reduces the pollution. Therefore, we say that these materials are useful for the environment to reduce the pollution. So building like this, tallest buildings, they use such type of nano paint as air purifier also. In case of nano environment, nano solar cell, that nano chip are used in a solar cell. And based on this technology, now see here how it works. This is the surface of the zinc oxide of the material. This is the nanorod kept, and here is one electrode. This is another electrode, and this rod is a 200 nanometer. And here sunlight, it absorbs sunlight. This nanotube, and this is the mechanism. And when this type of chip or solar cell made of nano chip are kept on the car, a bus, or train. So instead of electricity, we can drive this bus or car on the solar cell. So scientists get success now. Not came in the market, but now this is the technology. In small scale, they are using now. So nano solar cells are there, and in future we can also use this type of technology. In case of technology, these materials are very useful, as we know that CD can store 1 or 2 movies, DVD can store 5 or 10 movies, more storage capacity. As compared to DVD, now silicon can store much more material as compared to DVD. And after this now, we can say that if the chip is made by nanomaterial, then it has 1,000 times more storage capacity as compared to silicon chip. So therefore nowadays silicon chip is replaced by now nano size material chip, and it is also observed that 1 lakh times greater storage capacity is there in the nano size chip. So this is these are the materials. Day by day, CD, then DVD, pen drive, silicon chip, and now nano chip. Nano material chips came in the market, and because of that, storage capacity increases. As we have seen, in case of laptop or in case of mobile, storage capacity day by day increases because of this development in the materials. In medical field, these are the applications of material. In last, we can say that there is a potential risk. Whenever we are discussed with the working with the nanomaterials or nanotechnology, there are some health issues, some environmental issues are also there, and therefore new risk assessment methods are needed. But we should have to take the care, because if we inhale or absorb the nanomaterial in the skin, are deliberately injected, then they show harmful effect. Very serious effects are there. So it is very danger if once we inhale such type of material, and therefore health issues, environmental issues are there. So there should be some methods are needed to discuss these potential risks about this nanomaterial or nanotechnology. And now, as we know, our ex-president Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam says that creativity leads to thinking, thinking provides knowledge, and knowledge makes you a great. This is an important quote given by the Dr. Abdul Kalam. And now there is a new science, intelligent bioscience are there, and based on that, scientists have made a nano robot. Now this robot can make all the works, and because of that nano robot, they can when it is injected in the patient, it get diagnosed and deliver the treatment, and affected area can be cleared, and after that it get digested. So now in future also there are so many areas where we can work, we can develop some material and for particular applications. Now also there are much more area like nanoscale concept in mathematics, science, engineering, technology can be introduced. We can do the work on this part related to the nano. So now it is expected that over the next 10 to 20 years, nanotechnology can fundamentally transform to the science, technology, and society. So in the summary, I can say that we have seen different types of applications of these materials, particularly advanced material, nanomaterial. What are the different methods? What are the different applications? What are their properties? How they show the change in properties, and different examples of the nanomaterials. So this is the building of my Kamla Nehru Mahavidyalaya Nagpur, and thanks for this. If you are having any doubt, a student can ask.
Hello, thank you very much, sir, for such a wonderful talk.
Thank you, sir.
Just a minute. So you have covered almost all about synthesis, characterization, and applications of nanomaterials, and number of applications are there. So student, they might be interested in doing such a research in their PhDs or in their future. So now if students have any question, they can ask question directly to the sir. I don't think there are questions, but still, as I told last, I think yesterday, yes, yesterday's speaker that we are waiting for this pandemic situation to over, and we would like to invite you as an speaker and to interact with our student here in our college. So where we just wait and watch for that thing. Because of this pandemic now it is not possible, right? So thank you very much, sir, again.